Welcome, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Katamas. It's Saturday Night Alive for you, the Global Peace Tribe. And it's April 24th, 2021. Years go by, don't they? Tonight's such an important show because we are dealing with death and dying, and we're going to be hearing from people who have experienced it. And as our beloved brother Daniel just told us, there actually is no death, it's just an illusion. And imagine how how grateful I am, and we are, to have people like Daniel and Michael Tamura and all the people that you're about to see. Deborah's going to introduce, who have experienced near-death experience. And we're going to also honor those of us that have lost loved ones. And that's probably almost everybody listening to my voice right now. There's been a lot of death. I'll put it in quotes. You'll hear that word many times tonight, and we're going to put it in quotes, recognizing that it is the grand illusion. But nevertheless, it still is something that creates a powerful impact on us, especially those of us who are left behind, because we miss our loved ones. We miss the people that are no longer in their physical bodies. And so we're really blessed. Krista Hoffman is here. She's going to take us on a pair of musical experiences, and we're going to have an opportunity to actually invite those loved ones that we miss to come into this room, to come in and join us, remembering that we really are multidimensional beings. So tonight we're going to experience that in wonderful and beautiful ways. Now, many of you are watching on Facebook or on our YouTube channels, and that's great. Welcome. And would love to invite you to actually come into our Zoom room with us. We've got well over 300 people in our Zoom room, and we're going to certainly end up at 500 or 600 tonight. So there's still plenty of room for you watching on Facebook or YouTube to come on in and join us. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and register and come and join us. And it's great because when you're in the Zoom room, it's easier for you to chat with us. You can chat with the speakers, the musicians, the magician. Also, once we have your email address, you then are on our email list, of course. And Deborah sends out every Monday a reminder with the replay of this show and how to access all the previous shows we've done. I've lost track. I think we're close to 60 of these shows that we've done. And they're all incredible, and you want to have access to them. So that's one thing. Also, then what happens is on Friday, you'll get a reminder of next week's show with the link. So register, www.globalpeacetribe.com. Register and join us. I also want to take a moment to thank, I'm going to put the spotlight on a few people. I'm going to put the spotlight on my dear friend Daniel Brinkley, who we just had leading our early Zoom room show. That's another reason you want to register, because in our early Zoom room show, we have special events like the 30-minute experience we just had with Daniel Brinkley. You have the chance to see Daniel at the end of the show. Daniel, we love you. Thank you so much. I also want to put the spotlight on our executive producer, Jay Mayer. You're going to see a lot of videos that Jay has created. Thank you, Jay. He's our executive producer and our video creator extraordinaire. And we have a wonderful sponsor. This is the second show that he's sponsored. And this is Tom Palladino and Scalar Light Technology. Beautiful technology. Many of you have already started to use it. And after tonight, I think all of you are going to want to take advantage of this wonderful offer that Tom provides to us. So thank you, Tom, for being with us and sponsoring our show. And we're going to hear from Tom and learn all about a little bit about his life and a lot about Scalar Light Technology. Most of all, I want to thank all of you for joining us. Please share this out. Share it out on your Facebook groups and pages, because we are continuing to grow and expand, and we love all the people that are joining us. And those of you in the Zoom room, please continue to tell us where you're from. I see we've got people from North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. Wow, the South is very well represented tonight. Must be because of Daniel. You see, because Daniel He's a good old Southern boy, so we're doing very well with people in the South. Okay, Washington, Atlanta, Hawaii, Michigan. I love it. San Francisco, Indiana, people from all over the world. I also want to thank Unify. A lot of you are watching us on Unify, and we've really been able to go international through Unify, so thank you. All right, with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host and producing partner, Deborah Giusti, to tell us more about the show.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everyone to what is now our 57th show that we've done since the lockdown during these highly challenging but very evolutionary times. And this is now our 4th show of the season 5, Time to Thrive. And we have 9 more shows for you through April through June. And again, we thank you so much for your donations when you register. And thank you so much for your donations to our GoFundMe. We do this free to you, and we love and appreciate, and it's very important for you to donate back to us so we can continue to produce these incredible shows for you every Saturday night. And this is going to be another amazing show. Our theme is near-death experiences, tales from the beyond. So what happens when we die? So this is an age-old question that most of us ponder, but now our global humanity having a deep inquiry, and it's more prominent than ever before. And that's because in the last year with our global challenges, we have been continually faced with a potential of our own mortality and witnessed the deaths of a large number of people that have died due to COVID. But what is wonderful is those people who have had near-death experiences. We call them NDE. They can offer a lot of insights and answers to this important journey of crossing to the other side. And not only do they come back with tales, but a lot of times they come back being spiritually reborn, having greater life insight and understanding. And a lot of them have a new purpose and clarity as to why they are here. So tonight we've assembled a really stellar panel and presentation of authors and teachers around that have all had the NDE experience. So we're going to have a very dynamic exploration of this topic. We will also have a powerful journey with Kristen Hoffman, one of our most popular musical artists. So it's going to be an incredibly fascinating show, and I'd love to introduce the presenters to you now. I want to honor Daniel Brinkley, first of all, who was with us with our pre-show. We're going to show that at the end of the show as well. So if you missed it, stay to the end. He is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Saved by the Light. Thank you, Daniel, for being with us. And we will feature Anita Moorjani. She is a New York Times bestselling author, Dying to Be Me, and her other book, What If This Is Heaven? And we have an incredible audio from her. And we have Dr. Eben Alexander. He's a pioneering scientist and modern thought leader. He acknowledges the consciousness of the universe. He's the author of the New York Times bestseller, Proof of Heaven, The Map of Heaven, and Living in a Mindful Universe. Thank you for being with us, Eben. And we will also have Michael Tamara. She draws from years of intensive training, past life recall, and nightly out-of-body sojourns, and he guides thousands to their healing and true purpose. Welcome, Michael. And we have Lisa Garr. She is the host and creator of The Aware Show, which is a transformational radio show about natural health, cutting-edge scientists, personal growth, and spirituality. And she has had her own near-death experience that she's going to share with us. And we have Tom Palladino of Scalar Light Energy. He's a researcher, humanitarian, seeking to make a difference in the world by providing scalar light healing. And as always, we have incredible music. We are going to have back one of our favorite Saturday Night Alive musicians, Kristen Hoffman. We love her because of her potent talent, her ability to highlight our theme, and her deep connection with spirit as the source of her music. Welcome, Kristen. And we also have another amazing musician, Srikala. He has a deep connection to the oscillations of sound vibrations with mantra music meditation and sound healing frequencies. And in our after show, we'll be featuring Ben Carroll. He is a former full-time touring musician, universal recording artist, but now he's a gifted, intuitive sound healer and worker. And we have back one of our favorite magicians, Sean Jay. He is also featured on Fox, ABC, NBC, Masters of Illusion, CW Network, and the TEDx stage. Welcome, Sean. And I want to again acknowledge our sponsor, Tom Palladino, with Scalar Light Healing Energy. Einstein said that the future of medicine is frequency medicine. And part of creating this new world now is being able to experience the new healing technologies that have been available. Experiencing quantum healing have been blocked a lot from the mainstream, but are now really coming to the surface and allowed to be available. And Tom is one of those pioneers who's pioneered scalar light healing. He has a lot of wisdom to share that he's going to be sharing during the show. Also, he's going to be giving SNA viewers a free 30-day experience of scalar light healing. So I'm going to be posting that link in the chat box of everything. It's also going to be in all our emails that will come out in the next week. So thank you so much for Tom. We look forward to hearing from you. And also, we're going to be posting our GoFundMe in the chat room. So if for some reason you're on a broadcast channel, you're viewing with a friend and you'd like to support this, we'd love your green love with our GoFundMe. This really helps us to up our production and keep going. And you can always go to GoFundMe and type in globalpeacetribe.com, ping us some green love, and we just love that. It really keeps us going. So thank you so much. We always start with incredible music to raise the frequency, and it keeps building from there. And so Scott, I think you're going to be introducing an amazing artist here.
Now we have Kristen Hoffman, who is going to provide an amazing song. But we want to start by inviting all of you to really connect in. And we want to acknowledge those loved ones that are no longer in their body, those that have passed on. And we want to invite them into our world, into Saturday Night Alive, into this container. And I'm going to start by showing photographs of 6 people who have recently left their bodies. 4 of them are friends of the Global Peace Tribe, and 2 of them are more well-known celebrities. And then I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. But and as I show these pictures, we take a look at these beloveds. I'm sure some of them are going to be people you know. This is David Robinette, and this photo was taken 2 hours before he died. He was with his girlfriend. They were having a beautiful day at the beach. She said that he had said, "This was one of the most beautiful days of my life." And they went to a restaurant. And while they were in the car waiting to park, he had a heart attack and died. And David was somebody that we loved very, very much. And what an amazing experience to see a photograph of someone so shortly before they pass. This is Martin Masters, a dear friend of Deborah Justy's. A lot of you knew him. He lived in the Bay Area and then finished out his years in Mexico. This is Sandra Ray, and she was on Saturday Night Live. She's been on our show speaking, and she was the founder of Earth Dance. And during tonight's after show, I'm going to play a song that she wrote. And this is Washboard Sid. I did not know him, but he was introduced to us during the Fantuzzi concert recently, and he recently passed. So blessings to you, Washboard Sid. Called Washboard Sid because he loved to play the washboard. And a pair of celebrities I want to acknowledge. I'm a big baseball fan. And Henry Aaron was quite a gentleman. He was a very special man, not just a great baseball player, but he endured a tremendous amount of racial intolerance because he broke one of baseball's hallowed records, the home run record by Babe Ruth. And he played in Atlanta. He went through a lot, and he always maintained his dignity. And he was an extraordinary man, as well as a great ball player. And the last person we want to acknowledge, I'm sure, is someone we all know. Beautiful, beloved Ram Dass. And I love these images. You get to see him when he was a Harvard professor. And then, of course, he left Harvard and became really introduced the world to LSD and hallucinogenic journeys. And then, of course, he went to India where he met his beloved Neem Karoli Baba and wrote Be Here Now and wrote so many best-selling books and was such a wonderful inspiration for so many of us. I was very blessed to get to know Ram Dass personally. We helped create a camp together. I spent time with him, both in Marin and then in his later years in Maui. And so just acknowledging those and again, inviting all of you to remember. And if you want to put into the chat box any of the names of beloveds that you want to bring into our container here, that's you're absolutely welcome to do so. And I'm really honored that I get to turn it over to Kristen Hoffman. She is, as Deborah said, one of our absolute favorite musicians. She brings so much to our world. She's a Juilliard trained singer, songwriter, musician. And as you're about to see, she has extraordinary artistic range and such a big heart. Her music has been heard on almost all the major record labels, film, television, and she's performed all over the world, collaborating with musical luminaries on projects ranging from individual albums to grand symphonic productions. But beyond all these amazing things she's accomplished, she is so dedicated to the earth. She is a constant blogger. She is written music. Her song for the ocean was performed in front of 800 Australian children at the Sydney Opera House. And it goes on and on and on. She's traveled the world bringing her musical gifts to help us raise consciousness. And I invite all of us to really drop in. Any of you that are tempted to be on different devices, no more multitasking. Drop in and experience the gift of Kristen Hoffman.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's such an honor to be here tonight, taking part in one of the most important conversations I think we can have. And that is a conversation about the most important rite of passage that we all go through. And as Danyan was saying, that we transition through. It's a change of density. I love how Danyan was sharing that in the opening pre-show talk. And that is exactly what this song is about that I'm going to share. It is called Shine Down. And I wrote it after a very deep talk about this transition phase with my dear friend Clayton, who I know is watching right now. And soon after we got off the phone, I sat down at my keyboard and this whole song just poured through in one go. I started playing a familiar background that I think you'll recognize, and just boom, the lyrics and the melody, everything came through. And when that happens, I feel that it's a song that is just meant to be here as a message. And I had this full feeling that it was a connection with the other side, with the other densities, and with loved ones who are still here and around us. So shine down, honoring all of those who have transitioned and calling in our beloveds, our beloved ancestors, our family, our past and our future selves. Good night, my friend. All journeys must find an end, but light moves on pieces into other form. So close your eyes, shine down with all your light, and close your eyes. You're carried now in hearts and lives. The letting go, the sweet surrender of the soul. Just trust in love and dive into Creator's arms, and close your eyes, shine down with all your light, and close your eyes. You're carried now in hearts and lives. Just close your eyes, shine down with all your light, and close your eyes. You're carried now in hearts and lives. The mystery is now unfolding, shining down on me. Thank you.
Oh, let's just have a moment of silence. We just think of the beautiful souls that we miss, recognizing that bittersweet. It's bitter that we miss these people, and it's sweet that we do miss them because it's the love that we shared that connects us. So, Kristen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kristen's going to take us on a beautiful musical journey a little bit later on in the show. But I want to remind everybody that you can get wonderful. She has so many recordings that she's done. So go to kristenhoffman.bandcamp.com. I'm going to spell it. It's Kristin. And then she spells Hoffman with two N's. So it's HOFFMANN.bandcamp.com. That's KristenHoffman.bandcamp.com. And Kristen, thank you so very, very much. And we'll see you very shortly.
See you soon.
All right. Well, to introduce our next presenter, we've got kind of a fun video.
He's been seen on the hit TV show Masters of Illusion on the CW network, Fox TV's Master Chef, ABC News, Fox Morning News, NBC News, and the TEDx stage. An award-winning magician, inspirational speaker, and a man of many diverse talents. Please welcome to the stage. Let him hear your energy and make some noise for Sean J.
Well, here I am. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Holy moly, we got 444 participants. My lucky number, a triple. Just that's a sign of synchronicity, folks. This is a very special show tonight. And Scott, yet again, has given me a challenge. Now, normally, I'm known for comedy and improvisation, but tonight's theme is a little more serious, and I take it very seriously. So I've been working on a piece, a couple pieces actually, just for this show to make it all work, and I think you'll enjoy this. So the ego, it's something that exists in all of us. It's the part of our mind designed to balance the primal desires of the id. It's the other part of our mind. Oftentimes the ego wants to take over, which it does very frequently. There's constant wrestling between the ego and the id. And it causes us to do silly and stupid things. Like, well, just say it causes us to have an inflated sense of self. Causes us to have a holier than thou mentality when the ego, of course, gets out of control. Some ego is healthy, like I said, everything in balance, everything in moderation. But sometimes our head just gets too big. And that is exactly why I've made, here we go, a little frontier. Here we are. This represents a lot of people that you might come across in the world nowadays. Just one big head filled with hot air. My ego's out of control. We'll get back to that in a second. The ego causes us to think these silly notions that money is the key to happiness. It causes us to think of other things like maybe our head really isn't so big after all. So I thought I'd do a little exercise with this whole ego thing. I'd like to bring up somebody from the gallery view. Let's try somebody. Let's have Eben. Eben, can we unmute Eben? Can we bring Eben up with me here? I'm going to go back to speaker view. Thank you. Very good. You were hoping I would do that? Is that what you said? Yeah. Okay, well, today is your lucky day, Eben. We're going to get rid of or minimize, just through symbology, a portion of your ego. Perhaps I want you to think of a time in the past where your ego took over and it just made you do something really silly, just something ridiculous. And if you're okay with sharing whatever that thing is, just in like a sentence or two, go ahead and do that. I'll let you think of something real quick. Do you have something?
Gosh, there's so many examples. Where do I start?
Yeah. Right?
I'm actually having a little trouble. I feel like I've made progress away from my ego in the last few years. So
great.
difficult to recover, where it dominated and drove me to something absolutely outrageous.
Okay. So is there anything in particular that maybe something silly you did in the past? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what would that be?
I remember, for example, in college, I used to jump out of airplanes, and
Okay. Can't make a mistake there.
well, it was with lots and lots of other people doing these formations, and occasionally I would get in, I'd say a little bit in over my head in terms of who I was jumping with, and maybe I thought I was better than I was. And so my ego was kind of tempting me into things that maybe weren't quite so safe.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to write jeopardizing your safety.
All right.
And that is a byproduct of the ego getting out of control, right? I just wrote this down really quickly, but it does say jeopardizing safety. So what we're going to do is we're going to just help dissolve that, help get rid of that, because when we get rid of, or when we minimize the ego as it tends to take over, strange and beautiful things can happen. Now, if I were to snap my fingers and have you just call out, just think of a sweet-smelling flower. What would that be?
A gardenia.
A gardenia, very good. And there's probably multiple colors of gardenias, right?
Well, most of the ones I've seen have been white, but I'm sure there are probably other colors.
Okay. Well, the idea is to take something negative and turn it into a positive. To take something lame and dangerous and turn it into something beautiful. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take this bit of ego right here. I want you to watch. First, we have to minimize it, which I'm doing right now. Just imagine it shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. And then I want you to imagine that it's no longer a heavy problem of the past and that it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. Are you imagining in your mind? You're imagining. Let's try this for real. Here we go. As it becomes lighter, it starts to feel almost weightless. Almost like it just doesn't even exist. It's not even there. But if we can get rid of that problem entirely, we can transform our life and become a much beautiful human being.
Beautiful.
Just like these beautiful flowers right here. And I want to thank you for taking part in this fun little exercise. I'm Sean J, and I will see you guys a little bit later. And this is my beautiful flower for you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks so much, Scott. We'll see you guys later.
Sean will be back. And just a reminder that if you want to learn more about Sean, you can find out all about him at seanjmagic.com. seanjmagic.com. And how much fun he is. And he will be back. So thank you very much, Sean. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
And actually, to introduce Eben, who's going to be our next presenter, here's
Perfect.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, we're going to bring Eben back up again. He is an amazing NDE spokesperson. He was an academic neurosurgeon for over 25 years, which included 15 years at Brigham and Women's Hospital, Children's Hospital, and Harvard Medical School in Boston. And then he experienced a transcendental near-death experience during a week-long coma from a brain infection that completely transformed his worldview. And he's a pioneering science, a modern thought leader, and he's also the author of the New York Times #1 bestseller, Proof of Heaven, The Map of Heaven and Living in a Mindful Universe. So welcome, Eben, to our show. We're so happy to have you and hear your wisdom and your viewpoint on this important topic.
Well, Deborah and Scott, I'd like to thank both of you for having me on. Certainly, the whole Global Peace Tribe. This is a beautiful effort you all have done. I just love what you're doing, bringing this to the world, helping a lot of people. So, as people could hear from my introduction, yes, I thought I understood a lot about consciousness as a neurosurgeon. And then I was driven deep into coma back in November 2008. Suddenly, early in the morning, first of all, that I had horrific back pain, then a headache, and then before I knew it, I was having grand mal seizures and I was gone from this world. And in fact, that coma lasted 7 days. It was an extraordinary experience, and it was really one of the greatest blessings of my life, not just recovering from it, but having the whole experience, because to come to see firsthand how consciousness is not produced by the brain, that in fact our souls are very real and eternal and deeply interconnected, was a tremendous gift of my experience. And that is something I spent the 12 years since my coma investigating as a scientist. But it all really began with that beautiful journey. It started in a primitive course on responsive realms, something I call the earthworm's eye view. And you can learn a lot more about all that in Proof of Heaven in my book about this. And I was rescued by a slowly spinning light that came with a perfect musical melody that ushered me up into a beautiful, ultra-real gateway valley. And this valley was lush with life, absolutely no signs of death or decay, just beautiful colors beyond the rainbow, sparkling waterfalls and crystal blue ponds, and thousands of beings dancing below us. And when I came back to this world and wrote it all up, I labeled them as souls between lives. And I witnessed all of that as a speck of awareness on a butterfly wing. And then I was there among millions of other butterflies, looping and spiraling in these vast formations. The best part about it was I wasn't alone. There was a beautiful young woman there on the butterfly wing with me, and those who've read Proof of Heaven will realize just how crucial she was much later, 4 months after my coma, in helping me to determine the reality of the whole thing. Because to me, going through it all, it seemed way too real to be real. And yet, as I spent the months after my coma reviewing medical records, talking over my doctors, looking through my scans, I came to realize this was an extraordinary event. To have any kind of experience at all should have been impossible, given the documented damage to my neocortex. And yet I had an extraordinary blissful journey through that gateway valley with that beautiful guardian angel. And I think the message she had to me was the most fundamental message I was to bring back to this world. It's really a message for all souls. And certainly all of our guests here tonight, I'd like to share that message. You are deeply loved and cherished forever. You have nothing to fear. You are cared for. And that was the kind of essence of that aspect of my journey. But there was so much more to it. In fact, this complete sense of the divine, of that loving, infinitely healing force of God that near-death experiencers going back thousands of years across all belief systems and continents, all religions, come back with a very similar report of a God that's infinitely loving and healing and deeply personal. That to me was one of the biggest shocks of the entire experience, was that I came to realize my very conscious awareness originated in that infinitely loving God force that I came into full contact with at the next level of my journey. Because from that gateway valley, many of the things that I learned there and saw there are lots of earth-like features, but also deep and profound spiritual features. Because all the joy and merriment and those souls between lives dancing in the valley down below us was being fueled because up above were these swooping orbs of angelic choirs, spiritual beings that were emanating chants and anthems and hymns that would just thunder through my awareness. And that was when they became a portal to yet a higher level, all the way out to what I call the core, an infinite inky blackness, but filled to overflowing with the divine and healing love of that God force. And coming back from it all, I labeled that that force, that God Om, because that was the sound I heard in that core realm, in the sanctum sanctorum of the divine. And I was told there that we'll teach you many things, but you're not here to stay. You'll be going back. And then in the midst of these many lessons, including a profound vision of how life reviews work. I love how Daniel mentioned them a little while ago. Life reviews are a crucial part of near-death experiences because of what they tell us about the boundaries of self, and that we're really kind of sharing the dreams of the one mind, of that God force. And in a life review, you experience those main teaching points of your life, not from your own perspective, but from the perspective of those around you who were affected by your thoughts and actions. And that's why Karen and I, my life partner and the co-author of my third book, Living in a Mindful Universe, Karen Newell, often in our workshops, we teach that the golden rule to do unto others as you would like done unto you, which is a major part of every major faith, and certainly of other non-religious, ethical, and moral systems, is written into the very fabric of the universe in the form of this life review. And you come to realize we are all in this truly together, and that we're never separate from that infinitely loving God force. No matter what the circumstances are when someone approaches death, what you find in the hospice, palliative care, and in terminal care communities is that it's always about love. The same message that Armenian soldier who was killed in battle 2,400 years ago, written about by Plato, when he came back to this world just before they lit the funeral pyre 2,400 years ago, what he told his fellow soldiers was about that life review, your life flashing before your eyes. But not only that, he said the only important measure is how much love you have managed to share with the world. That is one of the deepest and most profound lessons of my near-death experience. And in the 12 years since that experience, working with scientists around the world to get to a deeper understanding of consciousness, where the reality, not only of the afterlife, but of reincarnation, when you go to, for example, University of Virginia, uvadops.org, more than 2,500 cases of past life memories in children, indicative of reincarnation. And so this whole world of human experience is much grander than I ever envisioned before. And it's being fully supported by the science of consciousness and this growth. But for the world at large and for the individual listeners tonight, for all individual souls and human beings, the true message is a deep and reassuring one. We are all in this together, bound through forces of love. And the more we can make our choices in life, all of our behavior and decisions about how to live each and every day should reflect our knowing of this oneness of connection, that we're all in this together. And that's why near-death experiences are so important. It's not about what happens when I die. It's much more about how do I best live this life? And those lessons and those choices we make every day depend on this deeper understanding of our connections, that it's always about relationships with loved ones. I have met thousands of people who have had not only NDEs, but after-death communications, deathbed visions, profound demonstrations of the reality of our, that it all is about love and relationships with others. We will see our loved ones again. So many people fear that once a loved one has left the physical body. And yet I can assure you, our souls are eternal. Our eternal connections with our loved ones are the very reason the universe exists. And so I think as we work in the scientific community to more deeply understand consciousness and explain the reality of the afterlife and of reincarnation and of this much broader soul journey, it should bring great comfort to all of us. We have tremendous power over our destiny. And this is where we can awaken to the deepest truths of humanity, very comforting. It's inevitable that the materialist view that says that it's birth to death and nothing more, that view is going the way of the dodo. It's going extinct because this new, far more advanced quantum-informed consciousness and realization of the scientific study of consciousness is a reality that is very reassuring and comforting to us all. But never forget that the ultimate binding force of love is what brings such tremendous comfort to us, no matter what the challenges in this life. And we are all truly in this together. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity to be with you tonight, and I wish great love, comfort, and bliss to all of you. Share this with the world. We're all in this together.
Oh, Eben, just a beautiful, beautiful message. And there's a lot of wonderful ways we can learn more about Eben and learn more from his beautiful message. So I'm actually going to show 3 websites that he has. And the first one is his primary one, and it's his name, ebenalexander.com, EBEN Alexander.com. And there's all sorts of wonderful things there, that 33-day journey. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about living in a mindful universe.
Well, living in a mindful universe is the true proof of heaven. When I wrote the book Proof of Heaven, I would say it's much more a question mark. I was a scientist. I had a profound experience like millions of other human beings have had. And yet how to make sense of it, especially and explain it in my kind of scientific terms. So Living in a Mindful Universe, it was co-written with my life partner, Karen Newell, the co-founder of Sacred Acoustics, which is a meditation platform that I highly recommend. It's something I use tremendously. There's a picture of Karen right there. And Sacred Acoustics, I meditate an hour to a day using Sacred Acoustics binaural beat brainwave entrainment. And it's all about basically reconnecting with my NDE, going deep inside. But the best news from our workshops, we've given hundreds of these workshops around the world, and we've done a lot online since the pandemic started. But the best news is you don't have to have an NDE to know everything I know about this. Meditate, centering prayer, going within. These are the ways that all of us can come to know these deep truths. That 33-day journey at ebenalexander.com is a free course that's now been taken by more than 9,000 people around the world. I highly recommend people go to ebenalexander.com and sign up for that free course. And it offers 33 days of email drip campaign to show you the deep principles of the book, Living in a Mindful Universe, along with a community. People have left all their comments, people from around the world, their experiences, they've helped each other. That 33-day journey is a beautiful offering. And I guess the one other that we would point out here, and I think you have the link for it, kind of parallel to that, is unitedinhopeandhealing.com. That is a series of biweekly webinars that Karen and I started more than a year ago with the pandemic. They're all free. We interview some of our colleagues, friends, fellow experiencers, scientists who study consciousness. And I would encourage people to join that. It's free every other week. And we've had fascinating guests. You can go to that site and listen to all the old discussions. But this is really all about sharing this with the world. This deep and profound truth is very liberating. NDEs are the tip of the spear in waking this world up to the power of the soul, our interconnectedness, that we're all sharing the dream of the one mind. We're bound together through love, and that all of our choices moving forward should reflect love, kindness, compassion, caring for others, taking care of the least, the last, and the lost, and especially taking care of yourselves, taking care of that beautiful soul that each and every one of you are, because we're all here together to help each other.
Thank you so much, Eben. God bless you. Really beautiful.
Thank you, and thank you all for having me on. It's been a real joy to be here.
Well, stick around. We've got a lot more good things happening.
Great. I will for a while.
Who knows? You might even get to do some more magic.
Thanks to God.
I understand that in the second act, he makes people disappear. So right now I'm making you disappear. So that's one of the things I get to do. Thank you, Eben. That was great. And I've put into the chat box all 3 of those links. So you can find the Sacred Acoustics as well as his main website and that beautiful unitedinhopeandhealing.com. So thank you, Eben, for the really beautiful work you're doing. And speaking of beautiful work, I get to now play our first light touch video of the day.
Thank you for blessing everyone watching this with your best blessings for everyone. Blessing, Blessings.
Take it away, Deborah.
Beautiful. And now I get to introduce Michael Tamara. He is someone that lives the miracle. He's been spiritually aware since childhood. He sees you the way you are as immortal souls, and he guides thousands to their healing, awakening, and true purpose. He draws from extensive training in past life recall, nightly out-of-body sojourns, 48 years of teaching and giving clairvoyant counseling, and a lifetime of extraordinary experiences, including returning to death 5 times. Michael and his wife brought the answer, which offers psychic tools, spiritual practices, and golden opportunities for healing, miracles, and fulfillment of one's divine purpose. So thank you, Michael, for coming with us now.
Thank you, Deborah, for inviting me, and Scott, and thanks, Scott, for being the Zoom magician. You could make me disappear if I go too long. But isn't that great? All of you who got a chance to listen to Dr. Eben and Daniel earlier, ditto. Everything they said, I can vouch for personally. There's never been a question for me this life of ever dying. Dying is like exactly like Daniel said earlier. There is no death, not for who we are. The body, yes. And how do I know? Because I was aware before my birth, and I'm aware above my mother trying to get me out and saying, baby, come on, hurry up and get out. So I've been kicked out of the womb. Instead of go back to your womb, I've been kicked out of the womb early on in my life. And ever since, during my childhood, I've had every night I go to sleep in the bed. And as soon as I put myself down on the bed, I'm out of the body. And in the beginning, it was hovering around scenes of accidents, working with both those who passed away, made that transition from the physical world, that level, like Daniel said, the density of this place, become lighter, who needed help to continue to go past through as many of those levels as they can at this time. And that the experience of dying is different for everybody because of where you are in your awareness. And it's in a sense, that transitional process is graduation. It's not you end, it's one level of learning ends and you go on to the next level of learning. And as you graduate from that, you can say you die from that too, or you graduate from that and you commence your next level. And just as Daniel mentioned, the 5 densities, once you pass the 5th one, then you're in what we might call cosmic. It's just, there's no limit, there's everything. And there you get to make a choice of whether, are you an individual still, or are you the all, the cosmic? Once you get past that question, then you're in a little bit like Eben introduced, that holy of holies, the inner sanctum, beyond everything, beyond the question of to be or not to be, like Hamlet, to be or not to be. That question starts from the 6th down. But once you get past that, it's beyond being and not being. That question ceases to exist because there is no thing. There's not any division. There's complete healing, and it's not the void of nothingness. It's, again, there's no words to describe it, but it's definitely an incredible holy of holies. Then you can stay there, or for many of us, we make a choice to come back. The very first time that I died physically, I was in great pain, excruciating pain for weeks on end with no end in sight. And I was very weak on a physical level. And I just finally, I said, hey, God, I don't know how much longer I can handle this. And boom, I got taken out. I even had an escort of a magnificent angel, an archangel, taking me right onto this council room where I was met by 5 magnificent, enlightened beings. And they welcomed me, says, you're done. You've accomplished way more than you've ever contracted for. So you can stay here with us and continue in spirit, or you can return if you like. So I thought, my chance, I'll ask them in all their combined wisdom, what would serve better? What would benefit not only myself, but everyone concerned in my life and everything? What would benefit more if I go back or if I stay in spirit and continue? And they said, whoa, absolutely, unanimously, instantly. They said, if you go back, you'll benefit so much more. I said, all right, send me back. But when in that space where you're not having to deal with pain and suffering of any sort, it's easy to make that decision. But you come back, and on the way back, I'm going, oh, yeah, you don't even think about a body. It's just an illusion. It's just not real in relationship to who you really are. It's like a smartphone, Okay, it's important. What for? What is this physical, and all the different density of bodies for in our so-called existence is for communication. And this is a communication device we use so that we can communicate to the other us. Yeah. I love when they say namaste in Hindi and Sanskrit of the greeting, the divine light within myself greets the divine light in you. It's the same light. When it's said, when mystics and enlightened masters have said we're all one, it's not bodies are one. No, it's that who we are is one. There's no 2 of us. It's just one. But that oneness expresses itself in all kinds of magnificent creative ways through all those densities, through all the different bodies that end up to be this here. and when we're done with that level of communication, expressing who we are, we put this one down, lay it down, and we exit this body. Yeah. You're alive before you ever came into this body. You're alive after you exit. It's just a temporary vehicle. But as you exit each body, what is the key element of what we call the process of dying, making that transition, making a graceful transition, is letting go, or better known as forgiving. You don't hold on because the past is already past. You've already experienced it. The purpose for that experience is done with. So instead of trying to get over it and find some closure, you just need to, remember, I am a totally creative being. I can create my next new step. I put down the old stuff. Whatever happened, it's done. I'm happy. It's not something that holds me here. I move on, create the new. What would I like to express now? How would I like to communicate? What would I like to share with you? And the sharing is the most important because that starts to take down the barriers between us so that we each can recognize we're the same brilliant, magnificent spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. And I just want to let people know how they can learn more about you. And if you want to, you can just go to his website, which is his name, Michael Tamura. That's spelled TAMURA.com. And there he is with his beautiful wife, who's actually watching. She's with us right now. In fact, I just so appreciate when we have a spouse with us. So there she is. And you two have created this wonderful Voice on America radio show called Living the Miracle. So thank you both for that. And again, for people to find out more about how to go there, just go to Michael's website, michaeltamura.com. That's where you can get his book, You Are the Answer, and learn all about the video show and all of his live audio teleclasses, seminars, courses, retreats. Hey, won't it be fun once we can start doing retreats again? I sure am looking forward to that. Definitely. Michael, thank you. And thank you for being with us. And stick around. The show's going to be we've got some really wonderful stuff ahead of us.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, what do we got next? I get to introduce Tom Palladino. And Tom is our sponsor, and he's also a presenter, so he's doing double duty tonight. And he's the creator of Scalar Light Technology. I know some of you have already been using it. It's a remarkable technology that helps us in many, many ways. And I want to start because I've gotten to know Tom, and he's a beautiful man, a beautiful soul. You can see he's got that kind of angelic countenance, no doubt, an angel who came into human form to help us at this critical time on the planet. Tom, tell us about your vision and your life's work.
Well, my vision really is to be, I think, coalesced in the thoughts and the aspirations of the people that have already spoken on this platform. It's to unite the world. It's to make this a better world. And those who have spoken thus far during this evening, they've shared their thoughts as to how to make this a better world. And the overarching consideration is always love. Love is the great uniter of mankind. That universal force, that unifying force is always love. So I've always modeled my life, my academic career, my scientific work to help people. That's the common denominator, and that's what I see in this platform tonight. We're trying to help people. We're trying to give people this understanding that we're not at this alone, that we are united, and that as a united group, as that spirit of consciousness, we can do so many incredible things. I don't think people give themselves enough credit. I know they don't. But everybody's capable of just extraordinary accomplishments. Anybody can change the world, and you do it just one day at a time, one person at a time. So what I love about this platform, and again, kudos to all of you, is that all of you resonate with this concept of trying to help, making this a better world. It's cooperation. There's too much competition in the world. We need a world that will unite. We need a world that will experience cooperation and not competition.
You're absolutely right. And so you've created, and I'm imagining kind of channeled, this remarkable scalar light technology. And I'm bringing up the photograph. And we're going to learn a little bit more later on in the show about how it works, but we definitely want to get people started. So tell us what I'm looking at. And I know that if you're offering a free 30-day trial, tell us a little bit about that. What is this technology, and what are we offering people tonight?
That's a Tesla instrument, or perhaps it's a consciousness instrument. I don't work with electricity. I work with a different spectrum, a different dimension, which is scalar energy or 0-point energy. So that instrument, that's a custom-built instrument, and that allows me to enter into that realm of consciousness, that realm of the 0-point energy field. And in so doing, I have the ability to perform incredible feats that I could not perform with an electromagnetic instrument. So I am a scientist. I do work with scalar energy instruments, and that, if you will, that's a consciousness instrument that allows me to balance the 7 chakras, or that allows me to, say, identify a toxin or a pathogen and then eradicate that toxin or pathogen.
Beautiful. And Tell us about the 30-day offer so people can start signing up for it. And Deborah is putting into the chat box the link where he's offering a free 30-day. So tell us a little bit about that, Tom.
Like, again, pursuant to my design to be humanitarian and to unite the world, we offer everybody in the world free sessions. How do we do that? By way of your photograph. So this instrument, this consciousness instrument, or this Holy of Holies, as Michael announced, is an instrument that works remotely by way of your photograph. Your photograph contains your quantum field. So I don't work with people in person. I work with people exclusively by way of their photograph. And I actually take your photograph, you email us your photograph, and I place it inside that instrument, which is the Holy of Holies. Or it's a consciousness instrument. And I connect with you by way of your quantum field, all by way of your photograph. Deborah's provided the link that anybody can upload their photograph. Just email us your photograph.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And for anybody who's listening and can't see the link, I'll read it to you. I'm going to come on in here. It's really simple. It's SNA, Saturday Night Live, SNA.scalarlight.com. So again, go to SNA.scalarlight.com. That will take you to his website. And I'm going to pull it up so we can all see. Those of you that are visual. This is where it'll take you. And that's where you enter your name, your address. You can put yourself in, or even a pet. And so just give him your photograph, fill out this very simple little form, and get the healing and the magic started. And Tom, thank you so much for just your gifts to our world. And we're going to talk to Tom a little bit later on in the show.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we do just like one show after another. It's pretty amazing. And there's a lot going on backstage. I got to tell you, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, we got to take care of this, that, and the other thing. But we pull it off. We're blessed to have a great team. And I want to thank Jay and Jan. They do so much, including creating the video we're about to see, all about next week's show, which they are the producers of. So let's see what we're doing next week.
Light Touch welcomes you to next week's Saturday Night Alive. May 1st, Indigenous Wisdom Rising, connection and collaboration across the globe. Returning Luminary, Chief Phil Lane Jr., and Grandmother Flor de Mayo, a Mayan seed keeper. Sergio Magana, a Toltec wisdom keeper. And great-grandmother Moetu Teha from New Zealand. And featuring Uncle Lewis Walker from Australia. Dr. Anne Polina, a water keeper from Australia. We're proud to welcome back Pura Fay, Native American activist and award-winning musician, and Sister Stone, an Indigenous rights activist. Join us on May 1st when we travel across the globe for our 5th Indigenous Wisdom Show.
Yes, we've done 5 of those topics now, the Indigenous Wisdom, all brought to you by Jay Mayer and Jan Kaplan, and they're all amazing. And this one is going to be very special because we are drawing people in from all over the world. And that's really what this is about now. This, the lemonade from this pandemic is having us connecting all over the world and collaborating at such high levels. The reason why we can bring you so many incredible shows each week is we have high level collaborations with so many people. And I'd like to ask your help too. I'd love for you to share Global Peace Tribe shows with your friends and family, because it's really word of mouth that really helps spread the word. So I'm going to post one of our trailers, our really incredible promotional video that will show what it's all about, that you can share on your Facebook or email with your friends, and the link to sign up. So I'd love to request that you spread the word. Also, another way that you can help is you can pay it forward. I'm going to put a link in the chat room where you can actually give a gift subscription to anyone you love and give this light and this love. And of course, they don't have to be there on Saturday night, which it's great to be here, but the replays live forever. So they will get information on all the replays as soon as they happen. And now we'd like to share a little bit about the rest of the new season. We've got 9 shows left. On May 8th, the theme is going to be Sacred Magic, the integration of divine feminine and masculine. And is that so important right now? We're going to have incredible speakers like Gay and Katie Hendricks, Ariel Ford, Matthew Fox, Richard Parisi, Grateful Bear with the God Cards, Destin Garrick, and Twin Ray Flames, Sananda and Shakina. We'll have music by Honey of the Heart and Maria Stark and Fajun. And May 15th, we have an ongoing collaboration with Global Coherence Pulse with Teresa Collins. She will be bringing in Bruce Lipton, Chris Decker of Uplift, Claudia Weiss of Ions, Elijah Parker, Gary Malkin, and many others. And we also have some other special shows coming. Do you want to share about May 22nd, Scott?
Yeah, that's when we're going to be tackling one of the most important topics that unfortunately almost all of us are dealing with, either ourselves or our friends: addiction, recovery, and suicide prevention. And it's actually going to be all weekend. We're doing, of course, Saturday Night Live. We're also doing special shows Friday night and Sunday morning, providing experts that are going to bring you the best steps and tools for dealing with these very difficult issues. On May 29th, our good friend Mark Sims comes back, and he's bringing Whitley Streiber and others with him as we celebrate making contact with our galactic family. It's happening more and more each and every day. On June 5th, Lori Grace is sponsoring a very important show on brain fitness, how it can optimize our entire life. And a really fun show on June 12th. We're going to be celebrating the 60s. Deborah is doing an amazing job of lining up some remarkable musical artists from that time. And we're going to be celebrating how the spirit of the Beatles, the spirit of Ram Dass, the wisdom has really impacted us and really created the rise of where we are now, the Aquarian Age. On June 19th, it's every quarter we do something to celebrate the equinox or the solstice. And we've got Matt Kahn and others lined up for that show. And finally, on June 26th, it's a collaboration of Jerry Anderson and Jay and Light Touch coming together to sponsor a show on Indigenous and spiritual wisdom, building a harmonious future. We're also going to bring in some of our favorite spiritual teachers. So it's going to be a wonderful way to conclude the season. So please, as Deborah said, register and share it, pay it forward. Let's continue to build our Global Peace Tribe. And I want to just acknowledge that we are very close to cracking 500 in our Zoom room tonight, which is kind of fun, and continue to invite people. And one last invitation: if you are still out there watching us on Facebook, on Unify, or on YouTube, you can still come into our Zoom room. We got a lot of show left. And just go to globalpeacetribe.com, register. That gets you in for the whole rest of the season, and we'll get you into our Zoom room right now. So please, please join us. And to share about what we've got next, I'm going to turn it over to Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. So now we have an incredible woman who does a lot like we do, getting the positive word out. Lisa Garr is the host and creator of The Aware Show, which is a transformational radio show about health, cutting edge science, personal growth, and spirituality since 1999. And she reaches over 40 million on free speech TV, US television households. And she has a podcast with over 100,000 downloads. So, and she's also had some personal experience around this. So we've been wanting to have her on the show because she's a major networker and aligned with all these topics, but also on this show because she really has something to say about it. So Lisa, so great to have you on the show. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to watch all of this. And I so appreciate what you and Scott are doing in the back end, having produced close to 5,000 shows myself. I get it. And this whole virtual world that we've moved into with the virtual technologies, good job, both of you. This is seamless and a lot of hard work, and I so see it. So thank you very much for all of us to have this great experience. And I find it so incredibly fascinating. Every single one of us who have had this near-death experience, we have these very similar lenses that we look through. And we don't know each other. We didn't prior to these experiences. We haven't collaborated on our answers, yet we've all had the same experience. Raymond Moody has interviewed tens of thousands of near-death experiencers with the same experiences. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, there are themes that we can learn from each other. And I highly do not recommend you go and die to figure this out. Just not highly recommended. You can tap into this energy because it is available to every single one of us. We just happen to have been the warriors that crossed over to come back and tell you all about it because it's such a beautiful experience. And as I'd love to someday have a panel with all of us talking, because to actually talk with each other amidst our community here to share some of these things, because we have all explained that there is another realm, dimension, life, world that exists simultaneous to this one. It exists right now, in this very second, in every second. It's accessible to every single one of us. It's a dimension that creates interconnectedness. It creates incredible love. It allows us to understand the beautiful power of manifestation, not being outside of us, but being right here at this moment. It allows us to connect with those who have left the physical body and exist in this realm all the time by summoning their name. I love that we put our names earlier in of the ones that we who have crossed over so that we can recall them. And the more energy we bring to recalling them, the more their frequency matches with us. We've learned that by hitting this realm or dimension that we connect instantly with our purpose, that it's something we can't not do, and that we have to fulfill that purpose. It's not just limited to us that have crossed over. It's every single one of us that are able to connect to that deep desired purpose in our lives. It's our stories. It's our birthright. It's why we're here. I do story coaching with people, and when I see them wake up to their story for the first time, it's like they had an NDE. It's like their entire life just comes rushing up to that moment, and it rewires their entire being. And it's such proof. I mean, proof of heaven is what Eben talks about, that we have this ability to connect with each other on a different level at all times. And I happened to have fallen off my bike to get into destroying my brain and disconnecting my ability to speak in order for me to actually find my true voice. And in that, I empower others to do the same. I found my voice so others can find theirs. I have brilliant thought leaders on my shows that talk about their experiences, and I have deep connections with listeners and with people who watch the shows, that as I emanate this frequency of this NDE and this experience that I had and that Eben and everyone else has had, I bring you into that frequency through my voice, through my interviews, through my awareness. And that shakes and shifts your frequency as well, as you align to what it is that you're hearing on my shows, or what it is that you're experiencing as a result of any information that's being shared. So I invite you all into not just thinking that it's someone else who had an NDE to listen to what they're experiencing. I want you to hear what we're all saying about these very, very common themes that we have the access to at any time. Tom talking about the light and the scalar light. It's accessible to all of us. The music, the frequencies that come through our beautiful musical guests, it's accessible to all of us. We just need to tap into that frequency and own it and enjoy it and become it. Now, we've all experienced those lower frequencies, those survivalistic frequencies. A lot of that is happening now, where we're in that place of fear or addiction to the news, or something that shows us that if we don't do this, then this won't happen. And those frequencies were not the frequencies that we share when we talk about our near-death experiences. Those frequencies of fear and jealousy and self-criticism and judgment and negativity did not happen in our near-death, our experiences that we share of that, because those are not the frequencies of creation. The ones that we do experience and have shared with you rise above those frequencies. And I invite you all to recognize when you hit those lower frequencies, and when you hit that fear and that survival and that self-criticism and that judgment and those mental demons that come up. When you look at those, they're the absence of what we're talking about. They're the absence of that access to manifestation of all that is, to interconnection of all and all that we love, to the ability to travel to different dimensions that are around us at all times. And, I also host a show called Coast to Coast AM, and on Coast to Coast, there's tribes. I mean, that's why that show is so amazingly popular, is because of the tribes of people that listen to the show that feel like they have like-minded people that listen as well, that have had these experiences of other dimensions. I mean, it is just absolutely phenomenal what we're here at this time on this planet to experience together. And in a way, all of us connected, the 444, now 477 people that are here right now, and all that will be listening to this in the future, we are all connected. We are all here connecting on a certain frequency, a heartbeat, a sound, a resonance, an idea, love. That's what we're here connecting right now. We can feel that experience of all of us being on the head of a pin together, because it's exactly what it is. That level of connection brings us all together in our hearts in this moment. I feel you. I love you. I thank you. And I invite you just to stay in this place as often as you can. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
beautiful, Lisa.
Mm.
I was on Lisa's show many, many years ago,
Mhm.
and I so appreciate all the years you've been doing this. Hundreds of shows, thousands of guests, gazillions listeners. Thank you, Lisa, so much for your amazing work.
I can't not do it.
I know. Deborah, we're like, another season. It just keeps going.
The universe keeps showing up for you too.
It does, absolutely. I want to share a couple things. Again, the Aware Show with Lisa Gar, and there's so many ways that you can work with her. And I'm going to show you in a moment, because she does coaching. But definitely check out the Aware Show. And I want to encourage people to get coaching from you. So tell us a little bit about this.
It's story coaching. It's finding your purpose. And a lot of people have shifted their purpose during this last year we've changed so much, and our universe has changed so much that we really can't fit back into those old holes that we were trying to fit into. So waking up to your story, that true story that you have within you, will really help you shape your purpose. And when you wake up to your story, your purpose reveals itself. And then you automatically become a frequency for what it is that you want to attract in the world. People have created entire businesses, enhanced practices, found like-minded communities. It's enormous what I've seen people create when they get in touch with their purpose. And because I've been doing this for 20 years, I'm able to hear your story differently than most people can. And I can tune into it so fast. And I can tell you what that means for you to be able to go forward in the world with it. And that I am empowering every single other person to help others, because we're all a part of this incredible tribe and we're really needed right now. So I'm empowering a lot of other people to be a part of this tribe.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Well, Deborah's putting into the chat box how to reach you, and big
Yes.
cyber hug. Big cyber hug.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. It is time. You know, one of the things that Jay and Janet brought to us is every week now we have our wisdom tool, which is where they take the theme of the week and they find some really wonderful quotes. So it is time for tonight's wisdom tool. Let's see what quotes they've chosen. Hmm. Thank you. I'm going to put the spotlight. There's Jan, and here's Jay. And I want to thank you for the beautiful videos that you create and for all that you do with light touch. When people often ask me what light touch is, it's a wonderful way to connect to our bodies, to connect to our hearts, to pray, to do affirmations. We have light touch groups that gather every morning. We send each other videos and little GIFs and photos in the evenings. It's a really wonderful thing. So thank you so much, Jay and Jan, for bringing light touch into our world and to Saturday Night Live. And for the wonderful videos that they do. They do a great job with their videos. Really, really fun. All right. Well, we are ready for another experience. And once again, like I said before, any of you that are tempted to be multitasking, put it away, put it down, and I invite you to really get ready to drop into an incredible journey. It's going to be with Kristen Hoffman again. She is so exquisite. And so I invite you to really drop on into our hearts. And thank you, Kristen, for being here. And I know that this is a topic that's meaningful to you. And I'm so glad that we get to have your talents and all that you bring to us.
Thank you so much, Scott. Yes, years ago, I actually got a very clear message that in this life, I would be using music as a vehicle to help help those who are transitioning. And I took one of the first end-of-life doula classes with Henry Fursko Weiss that was being offered at the Open Center years ago. And I never knew at that time that the first person I would work with who was transitioning would be my mother. But it was the greatest gift ever that I took that course, because my mother was so interested in the fact that I wanted to learn more. And we had these beautiful conversations about what she wanted to experience and how she wanted the scene set and what she wanted her passing to be like. So when it actually came to be, I was able to hold that space for her and help my dad to be present. And we just created this incredible space for 3 days as my mother left her body. And since that day, I feel even more called to use music as the powerful vehicle that it is to tap into this important conversation and help us connect in the highest vibration possible and let go of the fear. So let's do that. I'm going to share an improvisational style which I call soul loam. And I spell it SOL, so it's light, soul, and then a tilde, and Om, the vibration of the universe. And they're literally weaving together. And this piece it's unwritten. I like to think that we are all tapping in with our conscious intention, sending our love, sending our vision forward, and I will tune to everyone sending their messages and be the vehicle to bring through the music, bring through the harmonies, the chorus, whatever wants to come through. Okay, so just in preparation, let's take one deep breath together, and on our exhale, let's exhale anything that is no longer serving us. Let's breathe ourselves into this moment, into this light, and then we're going to exhale anything that we no longer need to carry. So here we go. Close your eyes and inhale, inhale. Hold and feel that light moving through your body. Feel your heartbeat. Give thanks for this life inside you. And exhale, exhale. May I be a vehicle for our highest collective intention and divine awareness. deepest truth, the deepest truth, eternal spirit, deepest truth, the deepest truth, eternal spirit, deepest truth, the deepest truth, eternal spirit, deepest truth, deepest truth. Truth of you.
Exquisite music is like, I just close my eyes and imagine what it's like to leave the earth world, to leave this dream world and reconnect with loved ones. It's such a beautiful journey. It's kind of hard to talk right now. But I need to talk because I do want to share a couple of important things. Again, I want to remind people that she has a lot of recordings available on Bandcamp. So you go to her name, Kristen Hoffman, 2 N's, kristenhoffman.bandcamp.com. And that's where you'll find a lot of amazing recordings. But I also am really proud to announce that, Global Peace Tribe is expanding into special events. And recently we had Cornflower and Kristen on the show, and people said, what would it be like if they did something together? And so we talked about it, and I'm really proud to announce Global Peace Tribe presents a sonic source activation with Kristen Hoffman and Cornflower. Experience your own creative awakening. And Kristen, tell us a little bit about, this is by the way, going to be on June the 6th. So it's easy to remember, 6/6, June 6th, from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock Pacific time, 4 till 6 East Coast. And Kristen, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen.
Yes, we are so excited. This is going to be a 2-hour opportunity to use music as the creative vehicle that it is. Cornflower and I are going to be doing a lot of our improvisational music and sharing some stories from our own life of how we overcame our own adversity and got in touch with our flow, our creative flow. And while we are going into our deep dive musical experiences, we are going to open up for you all to share to tap into your creative expression in different ways. First is going to be meditation and visioning. The next exercise will be free flow drawing, or whatever you like to do, doodle, draw, paint, whatever you have at home while Cornflower is playing. And then for my next piece, we are going to dive into free flow writing and just see what comes out. And for the last piece that Cornflower offers, we are going to dive into movement and ecstatic dance. So it's just going to be this incredible 2 hours where you get to tune into your own creativity and feel yourself come alive. So please come join us.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. It's going to be, I can't wait. I really can't wait. And we're going to see Kristen again. She's going to be on our May 15th show, our collaboration with Teresa Collins. So we get you in April, we get a little of you in May, we get a little of you in June. So thank you so much, Kristen. You bring so much to our world, so much.
Thank you. And Scott, will you put the registration link in the
Yeah,
the chat for everyone?
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
perfect.
Deborah's been doing that. Yeah, Deborah's been
great.
putting the registration link in the chat.
Yes,
So-
please come join us. Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kristen. All right. Well, it is time for some magic. And to introduce our magician, here's Deborah.
And we've definitely had magic tonight, and we're going to have a whole nother level of it again with Sean Jay. We just love him. He's been seen on Fox, ABC, NBC. He is a true professional. He's studied with all the greats, and he always comes up with really special tricks for us. So Sean, great to have you back.
Yes, thank you for having me back again on this program. I've prepared for you all tonight a story involving life, death, and fire. Yes, that's true. It's also a true story. And in order for me to share this story, if it's okay with you, Scott, you mind if I share my screen really quick? I just have a couple of
Yeah, go for it. Go for
help
it.
me illustrate this story. So here we go. Just there we are. Excellent. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire in the Greenwich Village neighborhood of Manhattan, New York City, on March 25th, 1911. It was the deadliest industrial disaster in the history of the city, and one of the deadliest in U.S. history. The fire caused the deaths of 146 garment workers, 123 women and girls, and 23 men who died from the fire, smoke inhalation, or falling, jumping to their deaths. Most of the victims were recent Italian and Jewish immigrant women and girls, aged 14 to 23. And of the victims whose ages were known, the oldest victim was 43-year-old Provvidenza Panno, and the youngest were 14-year-olds Kate Leone and Rosaria Sarah Maltese. Now, what this story doesn't tell you is that one of the survivors was actually my great-grandmother. Now, this building has since been renovated. It's now called the Brown Building, still in Greenwich Village in Manhattan, New York. And my grandmother, her name is Lizzie Lebret. And she came to America a long time ago with not a lot of money, but just a simple spool of thread. You see, she was known as a seamstress. She repaired and did alterations on skirts and shirts. And that was her passion. And so with this introduction and the stage set, I'd like to share with you a mystery, a tribute to my great-grandmother, Lizzie Lebret, right here, right now. So if I could just squeeze out of this, here we are. And we are now back. This is the thread. A simple spool of thread. Pink spool of thread. Now, my great-grandmother Lizzie, she was a feisty character, as everybody in my family knows. And I want to do this really close for you guys. Make sure you're in speaker view so you could see this pink thread that I'm about to use. Now, she followed her passion. She came to America, like I said, with absolutely nothing. And with this thread, she manifested many miracles. Now, of course, in life, when you follow your passion, like I have, I started following my passion when I was 12 years old. And a lot of people tried to, well, cut me down. You see, in life, we go through many disappointments. We go through heartbreaks. Sometimes people tell us we're not good enough. We're never going to make enough money. That's what people told me when I was starting. They said, stop wasting your time, Sean. You're never going to be anything. I'm serious. People told me this. But because I had the passion, the perseverance, just like my great-grandmother, Lizzie Lebret, true story, I was able to do wonderful and amazing things with my career. I was able to make a lot of people happy, and still am, just like doing right here now on this lovely program. But of course, people can say things, and that deeply hurts us. Usually, for the uneducated, the ultimate disappointment is death. But as we've learned tonight by our really smart, intelligent presenters, death is just the beginning. It's the end of our journey in this material world, but the beginning of our next journey into a beautiful place. I personally, I'll be honest, I have never had a near-death experience, but learning all about it tonight, and it's incredibly fascinating. And what we can learn from these presenters is that although death can be scary, and although you can get hurt and be cut down, stressed out, just remember that this is just the beginning. You got this, guys. And when our body dies, our soul survives. And we can take this mess of stress and disease and destruction and change it, transform it into something beautiful, something amazing, just like my great-grandmother, Lizzie LeBret did. Thank you so much. I'm Sean J. I hope you guys enjoyed my little story, my tale that I've weaved right before your very eyes. Thanks to Scott and Deborah for having me back. I hope you found that educational and inspiring. Thanks so much, guys. I'm Sean J. Peace out.
Oh, thank you so much. That I love how you honor your mother in a previous show, your great grandmother tonight, and thank you. That was really quite beautiful. And a reminder, everybody, you can learn all about Sean J., who has been seen on almost all the major networks and TEDx. Sean J. Magic. Now, mind you, he spells it SHAUN, SHAUNJAYMAGIC.com. SeanJMagic.com.
I'll be back on season 8 of Masters of Illusion this summer, actually. That was filmed already, so you guys are among the first to know. Catch me on the CW.
So send us the details, and we'll definitely mention it in our Global Peace Tribe Recommends the week before you air, okay?
Much appreciated, Scott. Thank you.
And if it's on August, we're going to have you on before then anyway. So if we're lucky, if we're blessed. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. All right. And now for our next magic act, I should say, let's see what's coming up next. Well, I'm not Deborah, but Deborah will be here with her part of the announcements in a moment. But actually, I'm going to start the announcements tonight. And I'm going to start by thanking our viewers, you guys. And again, you can still come on into the Zoom room. It's not too late. We've still got a lot of show left. We've got an amazing musician coming up. We've got more speakers. So come join us. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. globalpeacetribe.com and register, because I know a lot of you are watching us right now on Unify. And Unify is one of our broadcast partners. We're really grateful to Unify. Started a little bit late on Unify today, but we do appreciate Unify very, very much. And thank you for watching us there. We also want to thank John and Summer Raymer, our friends who run the Sign Network. That's SINE. And the Sign Network helps get us out to about 100 different Facebook groups and pages. Alan Steinfeld, who was my guest on Straight Talk last night, he has the New Realities YouTube channel that always carries us. And of course, Light Touch is very, very important to us. Jay and Jan and all of our friends at Light Touch that sponsors so many of our shows. We also appreciate newearth1.com, of course, my company, Love Coach Academy, Earth Dance Global, and Sandra Ray, who I showed a little bit earlier, who passed away, one of the co-founders of Earth Dance Global. Humanities Team, Portal to Ascension, Disclosure Fest, Global Days of Unity, Earthwalk United, and Enlightened World Network. Now, Enlightened World Network is a special one because Ruth Anderson is with us tonight. And we're going to get a chance to meet Ruth a little bit later, very soon. But Ruth, thank you for joining us. And we're looking forward to learning all about the Enlightened World Network. So thank you for being with us. And thank you for carrying our shows. Really appreciate it. And as always, we want to thank Jay Mayer, our executive producer. And there he is. There's a good-looking guy. And we want to thank Tom Palladino, who is our sponsor of tonight's show. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you, Jay. And thank you, everybody who donates, who registers. We appreciate you. And here's Deborah.
Thanks, Scott. And I also want to thank you again for spreading the word about Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. Word of mouth is golden, so please share with your friends, family, on social media and email, and I'm going to post the links where you can share our trailer video. It's really cool, and invite people to join. Also, again, this is come together as we work in high collaboration. So we invite participation with us. If you want to volunteer, I'm going to post a volunteer form. If you have special superpowers that you can help us with. If you've got social media skills with advertising and posting, we're looking for someone to help us get the word out all around the world through social media. And also we're always looking for sponsors that are in alignment where we can help promote what they do and they support Saturday Night Live continuing. I'm going to post links in the chat room for that. And again, we appreciate your green love with our GoFundMe. Especially if you're watching this for free and you'd love to have us continue and go into the future, just go to our GoFundMe at Global Peace Tribe and you'll find us, and also promote that, post that in the chat room. We really appreciate your donations. We use them to produce incredible shows and give them right back at you. And it looks like we're going to continue into the summer and continuing, and that's because of your support. So thank you so much. So I'll post all that in the chat rooms, on our Facebook pages, and thank you and much, much love. And now we are going to have another incredible speaker on near-death experience. And she is also a New York Times bestseller. Anita Moorjani is the author of Dying to Be Me. And she has other books, What If This Is Heaven, Love a Story, Who Are You? And she has a remarkable story. After a 4-year battle with cancer, Anita fell into a coma and was given only days to live. As her doctors began to revive her, she was given the choice. She journeyed into a near-death experience where she was given the choice to return to a physical form or continue into the new realm. And at that point, she did choose the former. She chose to come back. And when she regained consciousness, her cancer began to heal. And this was to the amazement of her doctors, and she was free of countless tumors and cancers and indicators. So Anita couldn't be with us tonight, but she really wanted to give her wisdom and her transmission of this really important topic with us. So we're going to show a video that was taped earlier today of Anita, especially for you.
Welcome, Anita. We are so grateful to have you on Saturday Night Live. And please tell us your story.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. And, you know, I want to start my story from before I had the near-death experience and just tell you a little bit about the kind of person I was. I was somebody who was, I would say I was a people pleaser to the point of being a doormat. And I was someone who gave and gave of myself and didn't know how to receive. I was always there for everybody except me. And I believed that it was better to give than to receive. And so I never allowed myself to receive, but whereas I was always giving and giving of myself, I did not love myself. I did not feel I was worthy or deserving of anything good happening to me. A lot of it was because of my childhood, and I grew up in a multicultural society, but I was always different. I looked different. I was a different race, and so I was bullied as a youngster. And because of my culture, my parents' culture, I wasn't always allowed to do the things or go out with the other kids. And my parents were somewhat strict. And so that really opened me up to being bullied. And that set the stage for me to have really, really low self-esteem and feel that I was worthless. And because of this, and because I wanted to be liked so badly, I would always bend myself out of shape just to please other people. And I was like a chameleon. I would become whoever I was around just to win their approval. It became so important to me to win people's approval. And I believe I actually tired myself out to the point that I made myself sick. And in fact, 2 years before I got sick, I was diagnosed with cancer, but 2 years before that, my best friend was diagnosed with cancer. And she was told that she was going to die, and that she was given a length of time that she was going to live, and she was told there was a 95% chance she was going to die. And I was the kind of person that just threw myself into being with her and helping her through this. And I neglected my own life. Like, even when I was getting wake-up calls and my health was deteriorating, I kept thinking, oh, what I'm going through is nothing compared to what she's going through, because I never valued myself. And then one day I found a lump on my neck, and I went to the doctor and I got a cancer diagnosis. And even though it filled me with fear, there was a part of me that actually felt, now I get to take care of myself. You see, I devalued myself so much that I needed an excuse or a reason to take care of myself. And so as I dealt with my own diagnosis, I found, though, that over the years, over a period of 4 years, my health did continue to deteriorate, because even while I was going through my illness, I was still worrying about other people more than I was about myself. When people, even as my health deteriorated and people would come and visit me, I would be worried about looking after them. And I didn't want anyone to go out of their way I didn't want them to go to any trouble to come and help me with my illness. And then I reached the point where my health was so bad that my body stopped absorbing nutrition, and I lost so much weight. I had tumors. So basically, the cancer I had was lymphoma, and it had spread to the point that I had tumors, some of them the size of golf balls, that were from the base of my skull all around my neck, under my arms, and into my chest, all the way down to my abdomen. My lungs had filled with fluid. My body stopped absorbing nutrition. I weighed about 85 pounds. I couldn't walk. And on February the 2nd, 2006, I went into a coma because now my organs had shut down. And the doctors told my family, excuse me, that these were my final hours and that I wasn't even going to make it through the night. But unbeknownst to everybody around me, I had left my body. And oh my God, I felt amazing. I felt free. I felt so expansive and liberated. All the pain was gone. The discomfort was gone. And the fear was gone. For the first time in my life, for the first time as far back as I could remember, the fear of the illness, the fear of disapproval, the fear of death, every kind of fear was gone. I felt incredible and I felt powerful. I realized I was more powerful than I had ever been led to believe. But the other piece was that even though I was aware that my body was lying there and dying, and I seemed to understand why I had got the cancer, and I was aware of my family around me, and I could see, hear, and feel everything that was happening, but I felt like I was bathing in this feeling or this field of pure, unconditional love, just pure love, like I didn't have to do anything to be worthy or deserve. I deserved this love just because I existed. And it's the first time I ever felt that way. It was so unconditional. I felt like I was surrounded by other beings who were, some of them I recognized from this life, but most of them I didn't recognize from this lifetime. But they loved me unconditionally, and I didn't even have to do anything to win their approval. I mean, this love was so unconditional. It wasn't like I was being judged for anything I'd done wrong. I was loved just because I existed. And every cell in my body, my physical body that was lying there, was also just filled with this love. And here I was from above looking down at this body and looking at my family. And all I felt for everyone and everything was just love and compassion. If I could only explain to you what this feeling was like, because people ask me, or people say, there's judgment on that side when we cross over. But what I say is, there isn't. We don't get judged. That feeling of love is so big and strong and deep, it makes me emotional to even think about it. It's like, even if you, in that state, even if you were to encounter somebody who is a murderer, like the worst kind of person, you would actually feel compassion for that murderer. You would feel compassion for the fact that their life had led them to being a murderer. Like, they must have lived a life that was so horrendous that it led them to becoming a murderer, where you just want to fill even that murderer with love, so that they know what it feels like to be filled with love, so that they never need to do things like that again. That's what it feels like. You don't want to judge them. You want to fill them with love so that they never need to do acts like that again. That's how powerful that love was. It was just amazing. And I found that I reached a point where I was given a choice of whether to come back or not. I came back because I realized my purpose wasn't over. And when I came back, the cancer healed. My tumors melted away over the coming weeks. And I have been living my life cancer-free ever since. And that was in February 2006. And it has impacted my life so much, in that now I know that every single one of us is a divine being. We are an expression of the source. And so I love myself dearly, because I see that by loving ourselves, we become an expression of love. And how can you not love yourself and see yourself as worthy? Once you realize that you are an expression of God, or you are an expression of the divine, you are the divine expressing itself through you, how can you not love yourself? Because when you don't love yourself, you're denying source or God from expressing itself through you. So now I tend to live my life more fearlessly, and I go around sharing this message with everyone, because I want them to know this. I want them to lose their fear of death and lose their fear of life. That's what I feel my purpose is. And that's how I've been living.
It's an amazing story. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it was really a joy to meet her. Just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And when we did our pre-record, she just is beaming with love. And what I appreciate about her story is her human experience, that insecurity, that people pleasing, that, being constantly judged, and to experience just that unconditional love that exists on the other side. Very, very, very inspiring. A few things that I want to share that she asked us to share for her. Um, you know, her book, or her newest book, is called Sensitive is the New Strong. And I'm going to take you to where you can buy it in a moment. But I like her quote, and she asked me to read this. How do you charge your batteries to keep your light shining? You do things every day that nourish and feed your soul, and in whatever way is meaningful for you. It's not what you do, it's what that activity does for you. Everything that nourishes your soul and recharges your light is a spiritual activity. My mentor was Marshall Rosenberg, and he used to teach that the greatest joy in life is contributing to the well-being of others. And I believe that to be so. So here is her new book, and it's called Sensitive is the New Strong. You can go to Amazon to purchase it. I know that Deborah is putting everything into the links in for us, and I'll show you a little bit larger version of the book. Here we go. And we always want to encourage you, please, our speakers, our musicians, they dedicate so much to make this show happen, to contribute their time. So buy the books, buy the music. Please support the people that we have on our show. It's really, really important. And along those lines, I'm really grateful to introduce an amazing musician. He was on our show once before. And when we were thinking about who we wanted to have on, I thought he would really be the right guy. So I reached out, and to our very much gratitude, Sri Kala has agreed to come back onto the show again. So I'm going to the spotlight on you, Sri Kala.
Yes, yes. Blessings, blessings.
Blessings. Thank you so much for being with us. And I do want to tell people briefly a little bit about you. And of course, we'll let people know how to get more afterwards. Sri Kala is, get up here, there he is, got his name after living as a celibate monk for 7 years in the Bhakti tradition, the science of self-realization. He has almost 2 decades of inner searching, and he's collected these unique tools for his journey. Sri Kala has a deep connection to the oscillations of sound vibration, either through mantra music meditation and also through sound healing frequencies. Through his studies and devotion to understanding sound healing, he's developed the ability to hear and feel energy frequencies on the very subtle platform, and he recreates them with his voice to promote healing for the mind and the body. Isn't that perfect for tonight? As a songwriter and musician, Sri Kala sees art as a way to collect the fragmented parts of the self and bring them into creative expression for the healing of the individual and also for us, the audience. So with no further ado, take it away, Sri Kala.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. In this tradition of bhakti that Scott just brought up, there's this understanding from this tradition that I love so much and that has given me so much strength. This is union and separation. That the divine exists very strongly in both. There's the oneness that you can latch onto, and then there's the separation and that the absence of God or the loss or when something is taken away. And the beauty of both sides of these, this is the beauty of the connection between death and birth, union and separation. So I'm honored to be here to talk about this topic because it's a beautiful topic, and it is not always a popular topic, but is one of the most brilliant things to bring into a conversation because it's one of the most realist things that exists in our lives right now. And so union and separation. I'm gonna take a journey of sound, improvised, spontaneous. We're gonna see where this journey of union and separation, death and rebirth takes us. And we'll see what unfolds. union and separation. From death comes birth. To honor death, the separation, the ending, is to connect to the fabric of life. As praise is a part of the fabric of life, the joy, the excitement, the hell yeah, the yes, I love that I'm getting everything, that everything is coming in, is closer. To grieve, to feel the loss, to feel the pain, to feel the loneliness, to feel the sadness. To hold that and actually take that expression all the way to the core of what it is also the fabric of life, grief and praise. He arrived from the womb. For some years, he was held close. Come in here. Come in, let me hold you, let me protect you. Until it was time for the next initiation to arrive. The people in the town cried to see their young one into the forest with nothing but his hands holding up his undies. Some stood with faith in his ability. You know, like, he's got this. He's got this. We taught him well. He's learned the sciences. Others, they still took time to say goodbye, as if he would disappear forever into the shade of the trees, never to be seen again. To honor this, they sat around the altar and they sang songs to bless his journey. May you be blessed. May you come back with life, where you become back renewed. Shaking with fear, not knowing what would be next, but holding true to the faith of success, that the transition would be necessary. They celebrated when he came back with lion skin hung over his shoulder, for he was born anew. And something did die. something was left behind in the forest that day. He looked at his hand. What is this? The blood pumping through his skin, the lines on his palms that told a new story. The body is temporary. The soul is eternal. The expression of grief is the fabric of life. From birth comes death, from death comes birth. And to end this story, we notice how in this world, especially in America, we find these transitions are not fully honored. We don't get to experience the small deaths in the spaces of life to prepare us for the biggest transition. But we can right now, right here in this moment, use art. Just like Kristen was talking about how she uses art to reconnect to these parts of ourselves, and how all of the speakers are giving us a glimpse of how death, how grief, how honoring it, that is the fabric of life. And so I'll make this final tone to honor the grief that exists within me, the grief that exists within the room, the grief that exists within the entire world. And for the 30 seconds of this, allow yourself to listen to this and even make a sound also with this. You can also sound with this. And surrender into the sound of this. Frequency of grief. The fabric of life. The fabric of life. Blessings, blessings. It's great to circle up with you once again, Scott.
Oh, Srikala, that was incredible. You know, in an evening that we're hearing people sharing these amazing journeys they took, both you and Kristen have taken us on an amazing journey tonight. And I loved your story and the fable, and that was really, really deep, very rich.
Amazing. Gets deeper and deeper. Every time someone tells a story, all of that just crashes into me, and then I take it, and then I crash it into you, and we keep building it. We keep connecting and building it. Thank you.
The way you combine story with sound, it's my body is literally reverberating with that story, with the message, the experience. It's very, very good.
Thank you, thank you. I took this 6 minutes to 7 minutes as a challenge. I wrote that story just before I came on. Like, I literally just wrote it up. Wow. And then I created that sound right then and there for the story. I took this 7 minutes, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make it a challenge and create something special and fast. And so, thank you.
Beautiful job. Hey, everybody, you can get more Srikala by going to his website. It's very easy. It's his name, srikala.com. It's SRIKALA.com. Now go there and go down to the very bottom first and put in your email address and subscribe. because you're going to want to be able to find out about what he's up to and learn what he can do when he's got more than 7 minutes. And then go back up here to healer teacher. And I'm going to go there right now and tell us a little bit about the work that you do as a healer, as a teacher, and in coaching.
Yes, yes. Well, I love the opportunity to use creativity, to use art, to use art as an avenue to access deeper parts of the self, deeper parts of different emotions that are either trapped or want to be expressed more. This is for people that are wanting to create a new artistic project, a new creative project. People that are wanting to just use art as a medicine. And as the last person that was just on, I forgot her name. The journey of being able to soften and surrender and what that does for the health in your body is so magnificent. And so we can use art for that. We can use sound for that. We can use dancing for that. So this is what I do as a creative coach, as a producer, as an artist. It's all geared towards giving people a deeper understanding of the multifaceted dimensions of life: death, the soul, emotions, the subtle realms, physical realms, embodiment, the ancestors. And this is what you're seeing on the site here, is state of heart. It's what I call state of heart. It's kind of a texture of what I just did, which is what I was feeling right there, right then in the moment, is what's sung, is what was offered. So.
Well, I think it's beautiful. And thank you for being on our show. I hope you come back again.
Will be an honor.
Well, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Blessings.
All right. And to introduce our next, or to bring Tom back on, here's Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, we get to bring on again this amazing man, Tom Belladino, who has devoted his career and actually his life to scalar light research. And he's developed scalar light instruments that can harness divine energy. And we're talking about the energy that originates from source, from sun, from stars. We're talking about chi, prana, om, mana, life force, 0 point energy. And Tom has developed scalar energy instruments that work by way of the photograph to improve your well-being. And he's also gifting Saturday Night Alive audience a 30-day free trial. So he's going to come back on again, and we're going to get to learn a bit more about this incredible healing technology.
Thanks, Deborah.
Welcome, Tom.
Thank you. And again, it's been a great evening. So thank you, everybody, for your attendance. To all the attendees throughout the world. I see people from all continents around the world. So let me start by saying, what am I working with? What have I devoted my scientific career to? It's Om, it's Chi or Prana. And there is another dimension besides that of electromagnetic energy. So I've developed these instruments that actually control Om or Prana, Chi or 0 point energy. And what I've been able to accomplish with these scientific instruments, these are custom built instruments, you cannot experience this same result with an electromagnetic instrument. Well, what's really telling is when I'm working with these instruments, I could work in a quantum dimension. Everything I do, I work with people remotely by way of a photograph. So I'm not working with the person, I'm working with your quantum field. And to those in attendance tonight, I think many of you understand what I'm getting at. It's a non-physical reality. It's consciousness. So this instrument proves the theory of consciousness. Many people say, well, that's a good theory, but is there any scientific evidence? I have that evidence. That what you're looking at is an Om instrument. It's a consciousness instrument. And I've been able to access that dimension of Om, that 0 point energy, with these types of instruments. I've devoted my life to developing these instruments. And the results that I can achieve by working with people by way of their photograph it's quite profound. So I would simply ask people, consider this. Again, this is the higher consciousness that we're all looking for. Well, I have that by way of this technology. As Deborah announced, we offer 30 days of free sessions to anybody in the world. Anybody can email us a photograph and we'll work with you free of charge. So why do we do this? Well, we want to see the world a better place. So most of our sessions we give away for free. And the model is very simple. The model is to help people. And we don't worry about money. I let God take care of that. The model is to get the technology out there and to help people. So as I mentioned earlier, this world has to be more of a cooperative world and not so much of a competitive world. And this is the world that I envision, a world that's united, a world where we help one another. This dog eat dog mentality cannot go on. So I, for one, I'm going to make a change in this world. And I know many of you feel exactly as I do, if not all of you. That's where I'm going with this. This is the new model. This is the new way of living. We cannot live along the lines that we're living. The socioeconomic order is crumbling before our eyes. So what I propose is a better way of living, this holistic way of living. And this technology will hopefully allow us to make that shift into that better way of living in which we all start taking care of one another. So this is the world that I envision. I think I have the technology to lead us into that type of behavior.
Beautiful. You know, I'm so appreciating, Tom, your vision. And there's the part of the vision that is practical, helping people with healing and what you've created and what you've channeled through with your scalar light technology, but also the big vision for how our new world. And that is, you know, that's why you're part of the Global Peace Tribe, because look at all the people that are on our show. They are, whether it's Sri Kala and Christian, who are taking us into new ways of creating music, but so infused with heart and consciousness, whether it's our speakers tonight who, you know, have human experience and understand human experience, but have also had a very otherworldly and beyond human experience. And every week on Global Peace Tribe, we get to meet people like yourself who are helping to create the new world, who are helping to create the new paradigm. And no, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And everybody, come on, take advantage of this wonderful offer. Deborah's put it in there. You go to sna.scalarlight.com, get your free 30 days. You know, these are all, I got this beautiful gift today from my friend Mark Sims. We've got what Tom provides us. These tools last week, Deborah Giusti was talking about the Healy, which is a wonderful way to do it. We have all these tools that are helping us to change our consciousness, to be healthier and to rise so that we truly can come into the higher vibration and can come into the frequency of higher awareness. And then in that frequency, we will create a sustainable world. And it's everything. It's the music, it's the healing devices, it's compassionate communication, it's yoga. It's all these things that help us to raise our vibration.
God bless everybody.
God bless you, Tom.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
God bless
All right.
everybody.
Talk to you soon, my friend. All right. Let's see what's next.
So with Global Peace Tribe Recommends, we offer you resources and a lot of virtual conferences that are available now. As you know, a lot of the physical conferences haven't been able to happen. So a lot of people have been going virtual. So many people can enjoy these amazing conferences. And yes, there's a conference coming up on Afterlife Conference. This is the 11th annual that they've done. It's taking place June 24th through June 27th. The theme is exploring the science and the spirit of death and the beyond. Terry Daniels has been producing this conference as a live event for 11 years, and this is the first time she is going virtual. So there's a lot of prominent speakers on there. You can actually get credit for the conference for your education. There's also sacred ceremonies and guided shamanic journeying, but all kinds of experience around death and dying and near-death experience. So I'm going to post the links in the chat room where you can check it out. It's the afterlifeconference.com. So if you want to go even deeper into the subject, there it is. So thank you, Scott.
Yeah. And we're going to show a video. Many of you know our dear friend Fantuzzi. In fact, a lot of you were at the Fantuzzi concert that I hosted a couple nights ago. And while I was watching his concert, his sons came on and they played a video. It's a trailer for a movie that they made. And this movie's going to come out. It's being presented on this Monday, or I'm sorry, a week from Monday, May 3rd on PBS Worldwide. It's an online PBS channel. And I was just so impressed with what his two young men, his two sons had done, that I said, hey, we got to put this on Global Peace Tribe Recommends. So here's a 1-minute trailer, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Mi nombre es Isnay Rodríguez, pero todos mis amigos me conocen como DJ Howe. En la actualidad me encuentro formando parte de ese movimiento de la música más contemporánea y más moderna en la Cuba de hoy. La necesidad de reencontrarme con mi historia, con mis raíces africanas, con mi gente, con ese sonido de la calle. Esa es la razón principal de este viaje. Santiago es el sitio más musical de Cuba. Lo que funciona ahí es casi seguro que se cante y se baile en todo el país. Por eso muchos músicos estamos siempre al tanto de lo que sucede en sus calles. La conexión de Santiago y África sigue intacta y eso que ellos le llaman Bacosó ha vuelto a colocarla en el lugar que se merece.
You know, I really want for Saturday Night Live to bring on more ethnicity, different groups, different races. And so really proud of Eli and Khalil, Fantuzzi's two boys. They've created a beautiful movie. Please watch it. That's Monday, May 3rd on PBS Worldwide. I now get to introduce you to somebody. We brought her on very briefly before. This is Ruth Anderson. And Ruth is the creator of the Enlightened World Network, which has been bringing our show out there. And Ruth, I'm going to pull up your video, or not your video, but your webpage. And I'd like to just, first of all, welcome to Saturday Night Live and tell us all about the Enlightened World Network.
Well, Enlightened World Network was a brainchild of Archangel Michael. And I haven't heard folks talking about angels here tonight, but it is part of who I connect with, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Divine Mother, actually. Enlightened World Network was brought to me from Archangel Michael, and he asked me to provide a platform for light workers who help to bring divine light into the world so they can build their platforms in a safe community. And so I work with light workers. We've got 60 different, 60 shows that are coming on YouTube and Facebook every week, and working with light workers to help them bring their show to life, or if they want to write an article, or if they want to write a book, but really just supporting their efforts in a safe community. So it's not the folks that are polished that are on your show here tonight. It's the folks that are starting out and just getting their feet under them. And then we also provide this really safe community for folks to come in and learn from these light workers. So Enlightened World Network is all about transformation. It's all about supporting each other and nurturing that growth. So that's what Enlightened World Network is. And I'm just so honored to be bringing that into the world. So thank you.
You know, I've just pulled up the schedule just to get a sense of it. And I still see a lot of friends of ours. I mean, I recognize that some of it is, you know, new, but for example, Course in Miracles every day, Chanting for Change, angel speakers. I've had the angel speakers on one of my shows. So it's beautiful work that you're doing. Terry Angel is wonderful. And meditation excavation with Terry Angel and you, Dr. Ruth Anderson. So there's a lot of really wonderful things. So everybody, please go to Enlightened World Online, enlightenedworld.online. And to learn more about what she's doing, I just was so impressed with all the things that Ruth is up to that I invited her to be my guest tomorrow night, tomorrow night. Scott delivers the message, take two. I invited Ruth to be on my show tomorrow morning. Most of you know that I have a show that I do every Sunday morning. It's the Sacred Sunday Show. And Ruth is going to be my guest tomorrow. And that's at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And you can watch on Facebook. We're on most of the channels you're seeing right now. Or you can come into our Zoom room. And we really love it when people come into the Zoom room. And tomorrow will be one of those shows where we'll interact with the people that do come into our Zoom room. We'll take your questions. And we're going to be talking about what is your personal gateway to an enlightened world. You know, clearly we're all wanting, like we've been talking about tonight, to, while we're in human bodies, have a much more enlightened world experience. So Ruth and I want to talk with all of you about that tomorrow morning. It's going to be fun.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Ruth. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And of course, Deborah is putting into the chat box the information on that. Now there's something else that we just decided we're going to do. This is fresh out of the Saturday Night Alive Global Peace Tribe oven, if you will. Deborah, as you know, or may know, is in Sedona, Arizona. And she's there because a lot of amazing people are gathering together. There's a big extraterrestrial-oriented conference happening. And so we want to invite all of you to join in. So on Monday, whoops, you put in the wrong date. It's going to be on Monday, Tuesday, May 4th. So forget that part, but it's called May the 4th Be With You. It'll be on Tuesday, May 4th. He just made this poster in time for our show tonight. And it's going to be Mark Sims and Deborah and myself. I'll be probably still in California, although I have fantasies of going to Sedona. Alan Steinfeld and many, many other friends sharing what's going on at this conference in Sedona. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And Mark is then going to lead a close encounter of the sixth kind, a CE6. He's done that a few times, and this is where people have direct and immediate connections with our galactic family. And Mark is so excited about May the 4th Be With You that he created this video just for tonight. May the 4th be with you, and may you be with us on the 4th. It's going to be Making Contact Day. It's also when Alan Steinfeld's book is officially released. And his book is called Making Contact. Many of you might have seen Alan and Darryl Anka on my show last night, Straight Talk with Trish. So join us on May 4th. It's a free event. It's a special Saturday Night Alive thing. And this is another reason why those of you who haven't registered yet, watching us on Facebook, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, this is why you want to join our Peace Tribe, why you want to give us your email address so we can send you the link for these special events that we do. They're really a lot of fun and they're increasing. And so you want to be a part of all of this. So thank you very, very much. And I am now going to play a special light touch video. And this one's really, really beautiful. So I hope you'll enjoy it. Let me just pull it up. This is one of those things where I have to show about 5 videos all at once. So it takes a little minute. Here we go. And one more time, thank you so much to Jay Mayer and to Jan and Light Touch for these wonderful videos and so much of the. I'm going to put Jay on. There he is. There's Jay. There's Jan. With Jay's always got his feather with him. Remember, it used to be have gun will travel. Now it's have feather will travel, and we are appreciating that very, very much. And we're almost done actually with tonight's show. But please stick around for our after show. We've got a beautiful video of Ben playing crystal balls, and we're going to replay what Daniel Brinkley provided in the early show in case you missed it. So thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jan. And now to say goodnight, here's Deborah.
Thank you, everyone. And again, this has been such an amazing show, such great information, so inspiring, and so much love. And we're appreciating you all. And thank you, Scott.
My pleasure. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I am going to go right into our after show. And I think I've got a little video here. This is at the end where we have all the videos I get to play at the same time. So here we go. So that's good night to our kind of primary show. And what I want to do is invite everybody to, and we're going to have to do kind of a unique thing. In order for me to show the Daniel Brinkley video show, whoops, somebody needs to mute themselves. That's, we need to, I'm going to have to stop the recording and end the show, and you guys all come right back into the same Zoom room. Just come right back, but I got to end it so that I can then get the recording of Daniel. So all of you know, still we've got 300 people still in our Zoom room. So just I'm going to close, end it, but then I'm going to reopen it in about 20 seconds and then just come right back in. Okay, let's give it a go.